my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about 4 major lenders that are cutting mortgage rates off the back of the inflation data that we saw this week. Now, I thought last week's inflation data was a little suspicious. You see, September's data is the data that they use in order to decide how much pensions and how much benefits are going to go up. So it's in their interest for inflation to either drop or stay the same, which it did. And suspiciously, it did exactly the same last year. However, there might be a good upside if you have a mortgage here, because lenders are now looking at this data and the markets are now predicting that the Bank of England is now more likely to cut rates in 2025 at least one more time. And so the lenders that you go to, and I go to, HSBC, NatWest, Santander, all these types of lenders, they borrow from bigger banks and they borrow on a rate called the SONIA swap rate. And that rate is a prediction of where the Bank of England is heading. And that's dropped by about 0.25% over the last few weeks, meaning that lenders can now get money, borrow money, about 0.25% cheaper. Now, what's also good is the market is slow at the moment. There isn't lots of property transactions happening. And so lenders want more business because they could just take that cheaper money. If it was really busy, then they would just make more margin. But now they're fighting for your business, which is really, really good. And so since the inflation data has come out, we've got some updates on 4 major lenders that are cutting rates to you. So let's have a look at this. First is Barclays. Now, I need to preface this data. It's not going to be the most detailed data out there because these guys are just getting press releases out saying, this is what we're going to do. So some of these are saying, here's your new rate. This is going to be the best rate that you can get. And some of them are going to be, look, we're going to cut rates this week. So the point is, I think it's still worth sharing because maybe you're looking at one of these lenders and you know what's coming. And so maybe you don't take an offer on Monday and you wait till Wednesday to see what the new rates are actually going to end up being. So Barclays is cutting rates and they have given their rate and they're dropping to 3.91%. Which is good. I think they were at 4.01% last week. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Haven't got all the data in front of me, but I'm sure they were at 4.01% last week. And I said, why not just drop it a smidge under 4%? Because that's psychologically a number that a lot of people want to see, a rate below 4%. So they are at below 4% now, which is good. And that's one thing that we want to see moving forward. More people get under there. Who have we got as well? So HSBC, big lender. And they are saying, look, we're going to cut rates this week. We're just figuring out how much we're going to cut by. And we'll get back to you. But the reason that they do that is because you might be making decisions this week on a remortgage or a mortgage. And you might have a slight preference for HSBC because maybe you're an existing customer of them with a mortgage already or a bank account of some sort, and it might be a bit easier for you to go through them. So what they're saying is we're cutting rates this week and it will be TBC, to be, is it TBC? Well, whatever it is, to be decided. And so that's what we're waiting on from them. So that's what we're looking at with HSBC. Before we go into the other lenders, I just want to quickly let you guys know, this week we are launching something very, very special. It's something that's very affordable for people that want to learn about property investing. I'm talking super cheap, super detailed, nearly 1,000 videos. Every property strategy, very, very detailed. And I want to ask you to join the VIP waiting list. Now, by joining that list, it costs you nothing. There's no cash commitment or anything like that. What you're doing is just getting early access to details on launch. So you will get all the details and a discount compared to everybody else by joining that VIP list. How do you get in the VIP list? It's in the description and in the first comment. So join the waiting list and just find out exactly what that is as soon as it launches. It's going to be good, I promise. So, next, who else have we got? Santander. Now, these are doing a decent cut here. I like this one. And Santander, they've been pretty aggressive over the last year or so with rate cuts. And they are cutting by more than 0.25%, 0.36% down. That's good. And that could make a real difference to someone's monthly payments. So Santander, check out their deals. Now, there's another lender to share, but what I want to say as well, because often people will watch my content. Now, look at Santander. They'll go on their website and that deal might not show straight away. So they're saying we're cutting rates by 0.36. You might have to wait till Friday. Some of these deals, you might have to go through a broker. Sometimes they offer the better rate through a broker. And that gives the broker the benefit of being the broker and putting the deal together for them. So sometimes you might not see it on the website. You might not see it on the comparison sites. You might have to go for a broker. And I'd always suggest that you go for a broker. I think it's just the best way to do any type of property deal because they get the best rates. And for me, I've had deals that wouldn't have worked out, but the broker pushes them over the line because they've often got relationships with Santander, with HSBC, with Barclays, and they know how they like the deals presented to them. So always do that. And NatWest are cutting deals as well, which is great. And this is, I think, going to be one of the cheapest on the market. They're cutting their rate to 3.77%. That's decent in this market. I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think that might be the new lowest rate in the market for NatWest. So that's definitely worth looking at as an option. So look, they're moving in the right direction. I said this last week. If you watch the content and you're a regular viewer, I told you guys the SONIA swap rate dropped. And it's dropped over the last few weeks by 0.25%, mostly based off this inflation data that we've had, that it wasn't as high as is expected. It didn't go above 4%. And maybe it's peaked out, which could be a win. And so because of that, there's now more likelihood that the Bank of England's going to cut at least once this year. The Federal Reserve might cut this week. That will help the Bank of England have more opportunity to cut because the Bank of England and the Federal Reserve like to have their rates fairly close because it stops major currency fluctuation, and that's a good thing. So let me know what you think. Have I missed out any lenders? Can you let me know any lenders that we should be talking about on the channel? Do comment, and always comment, even if it's just to say hi. I personally reply to all the comments on here. And before you go and join that VIP list. It's not going to cost you anything, but by doing that, you'll know all about the latest product as soon as it launches, and I'll give you a discount on it. So do smash like, do subscribe, check out all the other content as well on the channel, including this video right here.